For Mike asked a question about the tools. We're going to take a look here at the different search settings, the default searches and what are called sample searches in a given strategy. Now, as I mentioned, we do support over 23 different strategies and power options, everything from credit spreads, debit spreads, condors, just buying calls, buying puts, covered calls, married puts, and much more. In every strategy, there's technically two search sections. The search tool, where we have some default settings that you can use as a stepping stone to create your own personal search, and a tool called sample searches. The sample searches are themed searches based on a trading concept inside that strategy that you can use to see ideas or as a potential stepping stone, just like the search, to adjust and modify criteria to meet your personal needs. Now, Mike's question was related to the long calls, and he sent an email and said, I've used the long call sample search that says calls to buy, but I don't know how to benefit from the other two sample searches. Looks like there's a significant difference, So, what do we have here? In that sample search, there are three themed searches. Current option volume. This particular search is looking for call options, or if you're in the long put tab, you'll see one for puts as well. But it's looking for call options where there has been an increase in the total option volume on that particular stock. And it's going to be greater than the average total option volume. Okay, and then there's a Bollinger Band BO, Bollinger Band breakout screen, where it's looking for long calls on the stocks that are near the top or have had recent breakouts over the upper Bollinger Band, and they're still in an uptrend and have reasonable high option volume as well. And then the calls to buy is simply looking for stocks in an uptrend with different technicals and fundamentals ranked by highest volatility. So what is the main difference? Well, let's right now pause the screen. We're going to navigate over to Power Options. My apologies there. And we're going to take a look at our three sample searches for the long call. There we go. And as I mentioned, whenever you want to see a search or access and screen for positions and new strategies, simply go to your strategy tab. So we're here in long call. I can go into the search, or I can go into sample searches. So here's the sample searches. And to access the trades that match the themed report, I'll simply click on calls to buy. And this will take me to a page that's very similar to the search, but I don't have a toggle here to go back to the other default searches in that strategy. But taking a look here very quickly, we can see here that the expiration time frame is only 0 to 85 days out in time. The calls to buy is looking at a shorter time frame for option expiration. It's looking for sort of at to in the money options with that delta of 0.5 to 0.8, options that are relatively undervalued with a Black-Scholes ratio of less than 1.1. Of course, we're limiting a range of bid-ask spread as well. And then you see we have some of our technicals. We're looking for stocks in the upper portion of the 52-week range, and average broker recommendation less than 2, and stocks trading in an uptrend. And of course, we're looking for stocks with good earnings per share growth, PE, and price to sales. No lists or anything along those lines. That's the calls to buy that Mike's using. Ranked by volatility, as I mentioned, highest to lowest, and we see Build-A-Bear Workshop, Revolve Group, and some others. Now, this is a themed search based on those concepts that we saw in the description. What is the Bollinger Band breakout? Well, the Bollinger Band breakout, see some different stocks here. Pinterest, OptimizeRx, Twitter, Tesla, Digital Turbine, apps, Autodesk, and more. This particular screen is looking further out in time. Instead of 0 to 85 days, it's looking for longer term options to have more time for the stock to move in your desired direction. It's not allowing it to go more than one strike out of the money. So it's still looking for probably at to slightly out of the money options, similar bid-ask spread, some reasonable previous option volume. But the key here is in the technicals, and you can always see which criteria are being used in all four sections in the active filter section over on the right-hand side. And this is one that's using the Bollinger Band screen. It's looking for stocks that are near the upper Bollinger Band line. If it's right at the upper Bollinger Band, it'd have a percent BB20 of 100. So this is looking for percent BB20 range. Where is it in the percentage range of its Bollinger Band of at least 90% or higher? It's looking for breakouts. Yes, stocks in an uptrend as well. And of course, other similar criteria for earnings per share growth. This is based more on a technical filter, looking for options that are maybe poised for a breakout. I'm sorry, in those situations. Okay. And last but not least, in our sample searches, current option volume. Similar to the Bollinger Bands, where we have different stocks here, PaySafe, Syncros, Nike, Sierra Wireless, so forth. 75 to 150 days out in time. It's not allowing the implied volatility to be above 150%. Only looking for calls that are less than 2 strikes in the money and less than 2 strikes out of the money. So sort of at the money options, maybe a little bit in, maybe a little bit out in that case. Okay, but what's down here? Option volume. It's looking for at least an option volume of 100 contracts today and a percent current option volume, which is the option volume today compared to the 30-day average of total option volume. And it's looking for options with at least 150% option volume, meaning it has to be 50% higher than the average in a sense. And it's also looking for a previous option volume of at least 100 contracts as well. Note, there are no stock technicals or fundamentals other than stocks having a positive change today with the increase in the option volume as well. It's not looking for an uptrend. It's not looking for a Bollinger Band breakout. This is solely based on finding high option volume calls. Now, you see similar information in the search tool as well. If I just go right to the search, the Bollinger Band default, which is probably Ernie's favorite to use, is pretty much identical to the Bollinger Band breakout sample search. The only difference is the Bollinger Band setting is a little bit higher. It's only looking for a percent BB20 of greater than 95 or more, and there's less fundamentals being used. But this is the screen that Ernie kind of developed looking for more of that Bollinger Band breakout. And then, of course, the basic initial values is just a default search that is focused on more technicals and fundamentals, not looking for the breakout in that case, but just looking for quality stocks with maybe a good earnings per share growth in the reasonable range of expiration as well. Similar criteria that you would think for a stock moving up, which would be hopefully successful for the long call strategy. In summary, the calls to buy default search that you're using, Mike, is a shorter expiration time frame looking for at to in the money options, that 0.5 to 0.8 delta. Stocks in and uptrends and other fundamentals, but it's not using the Bollinger Bands or the MACD. The Bollinger Band breakout is a themed search looking specifically for stocks that are near that upper Bollinger Band and perhaps poised to have an upper Bollinger Band breakout. It is using some fundamentals as well, and it's sorted by the highest earnings per share growth, but it has a longer term expiration time frame. Instead of 0 to 85 days for the calls to buy, it's looking for 75 to 150. And the current option volume is not using any technicals or fundamentals, but it's looking for the hot option volume stocks, those that are showing an increase in option volume compared to the average over the last 30 days. And it's looking to find those stocks, identify excited interest based on the options volume, more of trying to follow the money as opposed to using stock technicals and stock fundamentals in that case to find a position or to look for a specific type of technical, such as the Bollinger Band breakout. So, Mike, that's the basic difference between those three. I hope that was useful to you. Maybe later on, maybe not today's presentation because we have a wide range of questions already coming in, but maybe we'll take a look at the last couple of months of those three searches and give you an idea on the back test of maybe in the past 3 months how those particular searches did in comparison to one another.